Good morning again. I'm fascinated by this relic where I'm certain slaves were carted here and there. And I looked inside because I was going to be one. But there's a problem with it. It's bottomless. And that's what happens. All the people inside just fall out the bottom and become forgotten. When I earn my settlement, I think I'm going to name the Hobbit Home Hotel Motel 7, because it's a place of heaven. Privacy. Your own enclosed earthen dome that you can rent out for the night, where you can have privacy, because they don't exist today. So, without further ado, I give to you chapter 21. Rite of passage to adulthood. We all remember this if you're above a child's age. "21 is a magical number that says you make your own decisions and choices. 21 is a marker celebrated with alcohol to excess, typically. 21 says adult, even though we still feel like a kid. 21 is when a boring job, and that's all there is to your life, sinks in. 21, we feel will last a very long time. And before we know it, the quarter-century mark. Am I that old now? Then the big 30 sail past. I recall being a totally different person at 21, 25, and 29. My goals in life, my career of choice, and my renter to owner status, as far as what I called home was to me. Once we become an adult, we never really look back. We don't need what we needed before we learned how to fly. Being a targeted victim or individual tie is an embarrassing, demoralizing, daily existence of having mommy and daddy burp and wipe your ass. And in my experience, in a mocking and too professionally shrewd, twisted way that normal people would never have such a vengeful fist at shaming for something that was done purposefully, just to have no reason to respond in such a way, even though it makes no sense. But others believe it wholeheartedly. There was no response to an April 16th letter last year to make amends, except to spew more hate with a falsified narrative the very next day that took me away from my new kitten, Asha, and another unnecessary staycation just to get me, and ultimately get me to move. The form was checkmarked incorrectly by Tammy, who I call a hamburger flipper at Netcare. And I shouldn't have had any trouble collecting a settlement for being illegally and forcefully removed from my home from Netcare and the Columbus Police Department. Maybe that's one of the 8 hospitalizations that are missing out of my Medicaid records. First, I need to become again the adult I used to be. The saddest and sickest part is I am a child to an organization who hates to the core what I can't help I am, and have protections against being discriminated against under the civil rights of the United States Constitution. So I'm as worthless to them as laundry lint, or as sneezed in tissue, and that I can't get around. I'm not even a part of them. So it's true in 2020 that people don't get drafted for war anymore. They get drafted for torture and complete destruction from inside out, and won't release the stranglehold until their victim is dead. Selective evolution and conformitization is the desire of some who are power hungry and relish in control so they can make decisions and the rest of us can't. Slavery, both self-imposed by fear and sought after by the wealthy who already have influence anyway, and force the worker to live only in selective neighborhoods because that's all they can afford. Our polarized reality is not the blending we talk about being. It's just like Black Lives Matter, and it is for real. Our schools are as unjust as our social circles. Our careers as different as intellectual or hand labor. Our hobbies as different as dominoes or croquet. We really don't like to get along. And we find ways to differentiate and defend it by saying, it's our right to have an opinion. We justify our thinking to feel better about a belief of dominance and submission. Could we possibly wake up too late to this reality? We already have blinded ourselves with our beliefs and neglected the fact that all of us deserve what the other has if it is wanted and attainable. We all can't have everything, but we all deserve something. That we were born on this earth to be free moving, free thinking, and free speaking. Because where we are, when we think to speak, it is then that we need to shout our freedom is in peril and demand it back as quickly as possible.